Tyrone Bowman live. According to USA Today, salvage crews on Monday began removing wreckage from the Potomac River after the collision of an American Airlines passenger jet and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter killed 67 people in the deadliest air disaster in more than 2 decades. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is leading the removal effort, which will first focus on retrieving the mangled passenger plane before turning it to the helicopter and its associated debris. Colonel Francis B. Pira of the Army Corps of Engineers said at an afternoon news briefing that additional remains were found during recovery efforts Monday, noting that the team too committed to the digging a dignified process of retrieving victims. So far, authorities have identified 55 people killed in the crash. I don't want to emphasize that should any remains be located, or I do want to emphasize, should any remains be located, we have done and will continue to do an automatic work stoppage until the proper coordination with the appropriate authorities can be conducted, Pira said. Officials said they expect it will take 3 days to remove the passenger plane from the water near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia. On Monday, several cranes could be seen lifting large pieces of debris. Pira confirmed that at an afternoon news briefing that crews recovered the first of 2 engines, the fuselage, and had started to retrieve a wing out of the water. Most of the recovered items are expected to sit on a barge overnight before they are transported to a hangar, where they will be assessed as part of a National Transportation Safety Board investigation into the cause of the collision. The focus on Tuesday will shift to recovering the plane's cockpit, Pura said, noting that wind gusts and tidal conditions could affect salvage operations. Recovery crews pulled a massive jagged piece of the airliner's fuselage from the Potomac River on Monday afternoon, by far the largest section of the plane salvaged since it collided with an Army helicopter and plummeted into the waterway near Reagan National Airport. The large white metal sheet hung delicately from the crane's yellow claps as crews moved it onto the barrage. Wires appeared to dangle off its broken edges, 3 window holes, and a combination of numbers and letters N709PS, along with a small American flag, were visible along the side. Officials have said multiple bodies are believed to be still located within the fuselage of the plane, which is complicating the ongoing salvage effort. The U.S. Coast Guard closed off a large portion of the Potomac River on Monday as multiple agencies coordinated in the removal of the remaining wreckage and bodies following the deadly collision. Captain Patrick Burkett said in a news conference Sunday that the river north of the Woodrow Wilson Bridge is closed to all vessels that have not been vetted and authorized to enter the so-called safety zone. The bridge is located south of Washington and Reagan National Airport, and it connects Alexandria, Virginia, and Oxford Hill, Maryland. 4 small boats are monitoring that area, as well as 2 Coast Guard cutters, to ensure only those authorized vessels gain entry, he said. The Coast Guard has deployed about 200 personnel to assist in the recovery effort. Those driving past the airport Monday morning wouldn't know by looking out their windows that recovery efforts were taking place. The scene was quiet. A single black helicopter hovered back and forth over the salvage site. Police boats with blinking blue lights floated into the water. Every few minutes, commercial jets lifted off the runway, heading southeast over the wreckage. Cranes lifted debris material out of the water and onto a pair of U.S. Navy barges. A driver with scuba tanks could be seen standing on the back of a police boat, ready to jump into the frigid water. Inside Reagan National Airport, the airport was bustling as travelers sitting by windows near Terminal 1 drank coffee, used their laptops and phones, and waited flights. Nearly half of the passengers aboard the doomed airliner that collided with an Army helicopter last week were members of the figure skating community. Samuel Auxiliar, CEO of U.S. Figure Skating, said in a statement, quote, those whom we lost dedicated their lives to perfecting the sport of figure skating, many with the goal of one day becoming Olympians. Excuse me. We will never forget them, Auxiliar said. May their passion and excellence inspire and give us strength in the days ahead. For now, our hearts are heavy with sorrow, and we stand with their families and friends as we grieve this unspeakable loss. Close quote. The 28 members of the skating community were returning from a development camp for promising figure skaters held in Wichita, Kansas, after the 2025 Figure Skating National Championships. In a tribute video posted on social media, U.S. Figure Skating identified 11 skaters, all ages 11 to 16, as being among the victims. 4 coaches also died in the collision, including married couple Badam Numvo and Evanja Shiskova, Olympians who won the 1994 Paris World Championship with Russia. The other 13 members of the figure skating community on board the flight were family members. The NTSB has recovered the black box devices from both the helicopter, the passenger jet, and the military helicopter. The recording devices are essential during crash-related probes as they provide investigators with crucial information, including internal communication and data on the aircraft's altitude, instrument readings, and power settings. So far, the agency has cited information recovered from the devices in its suggestion that the helicopter was above the 200-foot ceiling for the route it was flying over the Potomac River on Wednesday night. The agency said it hoped to have a complete transcription of the communications among the aircraft and traffic controllers. NTSB member Todd Inman said Saturday during a press briefing, a preliminary report on the incident is expected within 30 days, according to NTSB officials. The agency in recent days has shed light on the staffing at Reagan National Airport's control tower and the timeline of the collision. The agency's lead investigator, Bryce Banning, said seconds after the air traffic control tower directed the Black Hawk helicopter to pass behind the plane at about 8:47 p.m. ET, there was a verbal reaction from the plane crew, and flight data showed the plane began to increase in pitch just before sounds of impact. Excuse me. Let's get together here. 5 people were in the air traffic control tower at Reagan National Airport at the time of the crash, including an operations supervisor with oversight of the tower and an operations supervisor in training, Inman said. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender, never quit.